also say this, and this is the part for those who think God says to also say this, and this is the part for those who think that God is a Lego puzzle that they can solve. And so they come here and they tax my patience and my soul with endless questions, doing their little rapture math in the comments and going, when will this happen? Is it 2024? If this other person gets elected, then that means it only leaves us one more year, -3, -5. This is what God says. Nothing will go according to how you expect it. Absolutely nothing is going to happen the way you think. All of your predictive programming and all of your presumption. Presumption means thinking that you actually can figure out the ways of God, and you can think in your mind what he's going to do and just work through these prophecies neatly and then come up with a date that suits you, whether it's early for the rapture crowd or late for the doomsday crowd. Presumption will be confounded. You will see events happening out of place and out of turn until you are emotionally exhausted. You will be worn out trying to figure it out, and you will still not figure it out. Nothing will keep a straight line. Nothing will follow a regular pattern. Nothing will go the way you think it will. In this way, I will exhaust you of your own strength until you learn humility. God is saying that he will deliberately do things in a zigzag, twist and turn, up, down, roller coaster manner where you literally cannot predict where the next punch or body blow is coming from. And this is for Christians, because the world will already be in tumult. The rest of the unsaved people will already be in a washing cycle. But the saved people, God says, you will try to figure it out. You will try to predict. You will do everything. And he says that all you will become is worn out and emotionally exhausted. You will never see the next shift that these people are planning coming. And he says that he will let it wear people down until they learn how to be humble. I will humble you from being experts. I will humble you from being gods who want to know and predict the future. Things will get so bad that your next 24 hours will become a question and a mystery that only God can solve. Then you will learn to depend on me alone, or you will perish by your pride. Imagine not knowing what's going to happen to you the next day. That is what this prophecy is about. Not knowing where your next 24 hours is going to see you able to still see the sun or not. When I heard these words, I knew that things were serious. I could feel the impact of what he was saying upon my heart, and I went to sleep and I began to dream of this communist life that came to America. In that world, leaders were not chosen by any system of votes, and they were not chosen because they were affiliated to any party. They were not chosen because of how long they had been in a political career. You know, you can work your way through, and then eventually one day you say, I'm going to run. There was nothing like that. People who were leading and people who were holding high-ranking positions were only chosen for one reason: their ability to strip themselves of all American affiliation and totally say, I will serve the beast. It was people who were able to drop all American affection, all love for the country, and serve the beast agenda first and foremost. What the beast was looking for was loyalty. And when you were loyal and you proved it by passing the different stages of tests, for they were constantly testing people, even if you had no natural political skill, even if you could not speak, even if you were not particularly likable, even if you had no charm like President Kennedy or President Clinton, none of that disqualified you. You could enter public office and you could shoot to very powerful positions. As the new government was establishing itself, this iron spider that I used to speak about in 2020 and 2021, favors and jobs were handed out based on who you knew. This is called nepotism. Nepotism is the act of favoring friends and family and close people. It's the act of using connections to give positions rather than using skill, ability, or merit. So based on who you knew, you could go up, or the government had this system called commissioning. They would call specifically for a person to come and work for them based on criteria that they may or may not disclose to the person You would simply get this embossed invitation telling you that you are hereby invited. That word invited wasn't actually invitation. You were being told to report to Washington, D.C., or wherever they will be, to go there and work there. And that was the choice you had, to go and work. Inside the government, there was no loyalty whatsoever. So you could enter in. That was absolutely no guarantee that you would last, that you would get to the end. People could be extinguished out of this government as easily as they got in. They were extinguishing people. When I say extinguishing, this is death. Nothing else but death. Exterminated from within the structure, outside the structure, meaning the citizens. And the general attitude in the government was take nothing for granted and watch your back. And now this is...
We did it. We did it, Joe. You're going to be the next president of the United States.
God says to also say this, and this is the part for those who think that God is a Lego puzzle that they can solve. And so